Hi, Neil O'Brien here. I'm going to take you through a construction case study in the short video. Some whales and sardines there in the background. I'll come back to that in a while. This is a builder, just going to call him John. Small builder I worked with a while back. Did, extensions and so on. Now, when I started working with them, we worked in the area of pricing and also profitability to know their most profitable whale and sardine jobs. Now, there was a few challenges when I met them. Profit level was too low in the business. Costs were going up, as we all know. They weren't confident in their pricing method. They had this huge spreadsheet. It was like 500 lines, but they just weren't confident or sure about the profit it gave them. They wanted more profit to top up their pension. They were kind of himself as a wife were kind of early 50s. Okay, so here's an example of a job. It was a job they were pricing, materials, subbies, and then their day rate. So the price of this job was 238,000. They were about to go to the customer. And I asked John, well, how much profit is in there? He didn't know. So we dived into it. I established it was 7% profit, which I thought was a bit low. So what we did is I bumped up the day rate and bumped up the price, and it gave them a 14% profit margin, which I thought was something to aim for. They were very good builders. They had people waiting to do jobs and so on. There was kind of a more demand than there was supply for builders. Very good position. So I felt they would get away with that. Now, the great thing about this is that John, before in that situation, he said if a customer looked for a discount or can you do something on the price, sharpen your pencil, they would have reduced the price. But when he could clearly see the profit, he knew, for example, if he knocked 10 grand off that job, that it was coming straight off his profit. And it made it crystal clear. So they stopped discounting, and it made a huge difference to them. So the benefits of the pricing, they now had confidence because they knew how much profit was inside in it. They had more profit on every job. No more discounting, which they had done previously. Obviously, the job still has to be managed in terms of, if the materials go up in subbies and so on, that thing still has to be managed. But and they started saying no to jobs if the profit level wasn't in there, or if somebody just didn't have the budget. So that was one huge thing we did. And the other thing I did is I went back in the last couple of years and looked at their jobs to work the 80-20 analysis, which ones made money, which ones didn't. What we established was a couple of things. Larger jobs generally were more profitable. Jobs under 100,000 tended to lose money or break even. And we found that the higher percentage of subbies that was in a job, the less money they made, because, things can go pear-shaped. So the 80-20 message is all jobs are not the same. Some are much more valuable than others. And once you identify your whales and sardines, you know what to say no to, and you know what to go after. And again, this made a huge difference. So we came up with this list of his whales and sardines in terms of the jobs they say yes to and no to. So that made a huge impact. And I think the profits went up 64% in the full 12 months after they made these changes. So look, I have pricing templates available. If you're interested, you can email neil@quantum.ie. Okay, thanks for listening.